And this was right before Rupert Murdoch bought on and all this other stuff. And they're going to start creating fake profiles and suckering people in. Then, recently, I saw them announce the same thing with Facebook. And then, like I said, 2 months ago, I saw that they busted a New Jersey post-prom party where kids were going to be drinking the evil alcohol after graduating from high school. How dare they have a rite of passage? And their post-prom party was actually raided by the police. So is it safe? Nothing you do is safe on the Internet. Just like I told you before, all the major telecommunication companies by federal law are forced to have a separate room where everything you do on your cell phone and everything you do on the Internet is then tracked, traced, and database put into another hard drive system. It then runs through software. This, again, doesn't mean people are actually looking at you yet, but then you are profiled. And through these profiles, they set up actual human units, and they start to surveil you. That's why you see these fusion dissenter documents in the United States where they say, oh, yeah, we are targeting people who are anti-illegal immigration. Oh, yeah, we are targeting people who are anti-technology. We are targeting people that are one agenda? No, it's ridiculous. Basically, if you protest anything, anytime, anywhere, yeah, you are an extremist and possibly a Al-Qaeda insurgent. So is it safe? It's safe if you know how to use it, if you know how much information about you want to give out there. I mean, just by going to my MySpace page, you can figure out who my brother is, my sister. You can see a picture of my niece. You can track my family. You can see what friends I have. You can check their comments page and see what we've relayed back and forth. I mean, you really are setting yourself for an open source information bonanza, but it's up to you to decide how much Big Brother gets to know. I mean, you don't get that decision when you're just surfing the Internet and they have your IP address. I hope that helps, Matt. I thank you for the call. We're going to come back in the final segment with Bob Chapman and Bob Dacy. We're also going to try to hit as many calls as we can. What do you think, Mr. Chapman, is the most impending issue coming up on the horizon in Congress and in the Senate?
Well, you've got several. You've got the health care fiasco. You've got cap and trade fiasco. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the H.R. 1207, which is being held captive in House committee.
That's what we need to talk about in the final segment. We need to talk about 1207. We need to talk about the co-sponsors. And we have to talk about Nancy Pelosi's odd response last week that nobody's picked up on but Prison Planet. It's going to be in Obama, too. I'm Jason Bermas, sitting in for an Alex Jones. Back after this.
The New World Order beast is genetically modifying your food, mixing vegetables with animals, and now experimenting with viruses. Without a long-term food solution, you will have just two options: starve, surrender. All canned food supplies will eventually run out. What then? Grow your own healthy food and feed your family forever. SurvivalistSeeds.com is now the nation's largest bulk heirloom seed company, and it's owned by a real patriot, Big John Lipscomb. You can now have an infinite amount of healthy vegetables like a watermelon, a bundle of carrots, or tomatoes for a little more than a penny each. SurvivalistSeeds.com. And now you can go into business with Big John at SurvivalistSeeds.com by becoming an affiliate. See his link at SurvivalistSeeds.com.
Coming up in the next hour, Alex Jones' eugenics rant is going to be played. I'll be in on Sunday for the first hour and 15 minutes of the program, and Alex will be rejoining us on Monday. I am Jason Bermas sitting in, joined by Bob Dacy and Bob Chapman. And a lot of people missed this. I hadn't seen any articles on it. I haven't seen the video on YouTube. Kind of hard to find. We taped it off C-SPAN. But in Nancy Pelosi's weekly address, she was asked about H.R. 1207 and auditing the Federal Reserve. Now, how does she respond? Well, she responds by saying, well, it sounds to me like the people want to know more secrets to the temple. And then she kind of chuckles to herself and says, secrets to the temple. It was required reading in my day. Then she babbles on for about 2 minutes avoiding the question. She tries to go to another person. She then gets asked, well, what's your position on the bill? And then she claims, Mr. Chapman, that she doesn't know the specifics and she can't give a response.
Well, as the head of the House of Representatives, she's either a bold-faced liar or she's a moron.
It may be a little bit of both. Yeah.
Both.
Well, you know what? She's not a moron. She's very cunning. She's very smart. She's actually 69 years old, which I didn't realize. She looks pretty good for a 69-year-old.
It's the multiple facelifts.
It must be the multiple facelifts. But my contention is this is a woman who is very politically savvy, almost predatorial. She's somebody who was the lead Democrat in the initial congressional investigation into 9/11. She's the person that brought us, no, we're not going to bring the Bush administration up on war crimes, and no, impeachment is off the table. So to me, this woman is a political player who wants to get as high in the ranks as she possibly can on behalf of her masters in the elite ruling class.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think
she's lying, and she's keeping it captive in there for as long as they can, because she doesn't want to get it out into the floor to vote because it'll pass, and her masters are telling her to do that. And you have that retrobit, Barney Frank, who's the head of the committee, who's holding it in there, and he's a disgusting creature.
He is a disgusting creature, and he will be exposed in Invisible Empire in ways people have no idea. You should see the clips I have there. Oh, man.
I can't wait.
If I didn't have to run to the bank after the show, you got to see these things. I mean, I've got him back.
I know about Barney.
Yeah, out in the 90s, where he's openly telling other congressmen to shut their mouths about the underage prostitution ring he's running in his D.C. home.
Apartment.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's just slap on the wrist. Oh, I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm a Republican. Or no, not a Republican anymore. I'm a Democrat.
I don't want to be like, Debbie Downer here, but if they did pass this bill to audit the Federal Reserve, I mean, wouldn't the powers that be just assign a whole bunch of CFR members to look into it like they do all the time anyway?
What's your take on that, Mr. Chapman?
Well, that's possible, but I think you're going to get a hue and cry. People want action, and they're not getting it, and it's time to start howling about that fact that they're not being recognized, or any of the things that they want are being looked into.
Well, at the very least, I think that we want this hearing on the floor so, people like us in the alternative media can at least tape that and then put it into a film and let millions and millions and millions of people see what actually happened and was kept away from them by both the government and the mainstream media, and having an impact that way.
That's true, and they're well aware of that. And, we've got half the people in America now looking at the alternative media. Mm-hmm. And as you've seen from the drop in advertising and the terrible problems the media is having, both print as well as radio and TV, we're gaining ground every single day on them. Because we're spewing out the truth, and really that's what the people want. There are people who don't want the truth because they just don't want to face it, and that's probably half the population. But if we can get half the people to understand what's going on, we can bring some fierce heat on them.
If we can get a quarter of the people to understand what's going on and then take action after that, we've got a real shot at winning. Alex Jones coming up in the next segment. I'm Jason Bermas sitting in. Thank you, Bob Dacy. Thank you, Bob Chapman. All the latest and greatest over at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.tv.